Often. Biscuit.
It's like Dayton. Or Dayton. Dayton.
Louisville. Louisville.
Yeah.
Louisville.
Tomato.
I love Egypt.
Drunk bitches be like. Drunk bitches be like. Drunk bitches be like.
Welcome to Drunk Bitches Be Like. I'm Brandi.
I'm Mindy.
And this is all about two women, a few beers, some tipsy stories, and some drunk ideas. Welcome.
What's the IKEA thing? There's like an unopened IKEA box.
Oh, I'm sure. I have 4 unopened IKEA boxes at my house right now.
Why?
Because we made a plan for like the pantry area and everything else, and it's the thing I'm sanding right now and like getting ready.
Your grotto
My
that is
grotto.
not a fucking grotto.
Yeah, that's never, I don't know. I think it used to be a mud, I don't know. But so we made a plan for that whole thing. I measured everything, and we had made a trip down to IKEA, and I bought matching cabinets to like be, I was about to say accoutrements, but that's not correct because that's food. Not accessories is also not the right word. Complementary to the other furniture in the rooms.
Okay.
So they're still in the boxes because I haven't finished the room yet. But once I finish the room, then I can build things and put them in the rooms. Because I also bought like those, those poles that hang on the wall that like have the hooks that you can like fancy hang your pots and pans.
Uh-huh.
I have like stainless steel pots and pans that I thought would look actually kind of pretty hanging. So I bought some of those to give us more cabinet space.
Here's my thing when hanging your pots and pans, you gotta rinse them before you use them.
That is accurate, but here's the thing. My partner also bought some Teflon, like, non-stick pots and pans because he was sick of using the stainless steel ones because they're actually kind of terrible to cook with. So now we have 2 sets of pots and pans. So, like, the stainless steel ones will probably get hung on the wall and then never used. They're just there for decoration.
Are stainless steel, those are the ones that are, like, a magnet would stick to steel, right?
They're
so,
super nice. They're Cuisinart. Like,
well,
I've been told they're very nice, but
if we got an induction stove, Honey Bunch would love to have all stainless steel.
Yeah, no,
because we have an induction cooktop, just a single cooktop, and he finds it fascinating because I will not cook with. We have a couple of cast iron pans, and I won't cook with them because they smoke.
Yeah.
And
I don't like to cook with them because I don't know how to clean them. Because you don't clean them, you'd like season them with oil and shit.
I know how to clean them. You just clean them with coarse salt. And there's like a stainless steel mesh.
Seems like a lot of work.
That's really not.
I mean, all dishes.
And besides, once I get to a certain point, I just give it to him, and he does the hard. He's willing to do the hard work.
Oh, that's good.
Because he knows I'm lazy.
Yeah.
And he wants to use it to cook with, so
nice.
He's willing to do the things.
If you guys get to the point where you want stainless steel, you can have my entire set. I will say there is one pot missing because there's a small pot and then there's the large pot, the medium pot, which I have no idea how many quarts.
I think I have a medium pot. You mean the saucepan?
So there's the little saucepan. Like the 3 pan sizes that like fit together.
We have the medium saucepan, not yours, but we have
if you have a
saucepan.
Fantastic, because
it's like 5 quarts or something.
I threw mine away because I went to make mac and cheese and I boiled the water and I put the noodles in and then I fell asleep. And like
stuffed away.
2 hours later, I'm pretty sure my partner came home and the entire house was like
on fire,
full of smoke. Thankfully, because we have a flat glass top. Whatever.
Right.
And it was just noodles burning into the
I can't fault you on that because my mother reminds me, not yearly anymore, but on occasion reminds me of when I would walk away from things. Like the water that I started boiling and then just walked away from.
Oh, I've done that. I don't know how many times. Have you like started water boiling and then go sit on the couch and watch TV and then like an hour later you're like, shit, there was water boiling and then now it's down to like 2 teaspoons.
Oh, not even. I don't even catch it then. So she used to have these ceramic pots that she loved very much, and now that like ceramic's coming back.
Yeah.
And I put water in one of them and then just walked away. Walked away, and it was like a burner, like an eye, burner, and For those of you from the South, it was an So I just walked away. I think I tried to make popcorn one time and just quit paying attention to what was happening.
Oh, that's the worst, because then you've got a burnt pan and burnt popcorn.
Yep.
That smell's never getting out of there.
No, there's a reason why my husband stands in the kitchen. As much as I love him and I love spending time with him on occasion, I'm like, can you go sit someplace else? But the reason why he stands in the kitchen, I have come to realize, is because I will forget shit. I'll walk out of the room and he's like, who is paying attention to what's on the stove? And I'm like, stove?
Wait, what? There's things on the stove?
I'm sorry. I just did not see that happening. Oh, look at you learning.
I've learned.
Not spilling shit.
I tell you what, these bombers, they're delicious, but as soon as you pour them into anything, all of a sudden the foam rises twice as big.
You know what?
Probably because I'm pouring it wrong.
I've had feedback, and the feedback says that people enjoyed us spilling things and hiccuping.
Well, you know what? We're getting better at pouring, so the spills won't, the hiccups might come back. We'll see.
Yeah, if I wasn't drinking peanut butter whiskey beforehand, it probably would have gone better.
Ooh. Oh, let's talk about some beers, because you've had some beers since last time. I have not had as many beers. I've had some wines. Loved some wines. But
I'm trying to get my pictures.
I had we're drinking, people, so I'm not going to get exactly things. Jackie O's has a brown ale with honey in it. And it was a good brown ale. I will say I didn't taste a lot of honey, but it was still a delicious brown ale. I enjoyed. And then, what did I have? What else did I have? You had a few beers.
I had the Deliria Belgian Ale.
Oh, the Delirium.
Deliria.
With the pink elephant?
It's the Brewers of Delirium.
Oh.
It is from the brewery Hughes, Huyghhe. It's in a pink can. It's National Breast Cancer Foundation. It is a female-owned, I believe, brewery. It was really good. It's very light. It's enjoyable. I liked it.
Nice.
I had the Wolf's Ridge. I enjoyed everything from Wolf's Ridge. I just have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This fruited Hefeweizen that was orange, juicy, and effervescent. It's called Wedge. Very grapefruity.
Oh.
I just don't enjoy
I'm hit or miss with grapefruit. I love grapefruit in some things. I don't like it in others.
I feel like this was supposed to be orange.
Yeah.
And it tasted great. So take this all with a grain of salt. I am taking a medication called Topamax, and it has altered my taste palette.
Oh, that's excellent.
It has, so number one, I can't taste carbonation right now.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, this will go away. So I have to toss that out there. It alters not tasting carbonation alters the flavor of everything that's carbonated.
Yeah, I bet.
So back in the day, the first time I ever was on this medication, I used to drink a shit ton of Blue Moon and go to B-dubs all the time. And I passed my beer to my one friend, hey, Tip City friend. And I was like, this tastes like soap. And he drank it and he was like, this does not taste like soap. And I was like, tastes like flat soap. It does not taste like flat soap. And I was like, I'm demanding another one. So I got another one and I'm like, this also tastes like flat soap. And he was like, I think it's you.
Yeah.
And turns out it was me.
It's you, not the beers.
What else do we have? I do not like IPAs, but I had the Wolf's Ridge Hop Pink. It's pineapple, peach, and floral profile, and that was tolerable.
That sounds yummy.
Coming from somebody who does not like IPAs, tolerable is a favorable statement.
Yeah.
Lemon Balm, tart and juicy. I can't tell you who it's by. Hang on. Mm-hmm. Epic Brewing, tasty.
I had a Kettle One vodka, cucumber, and mint, little cans.
What?
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's a cocktail in a can.
Nice.
So
I'm for it.
It's Kettle One vodka cocktail, but it's cucumber and mint, and it's still. I drank it out of the can because I'm not bougie. So
I would have had more vodka too.
But those are delicious. I love those. What else did I try? I've been doing a lot of wine lately.
I had Land Grant creams. I'm not an alcoholic. This has been 3 weeks. We went to, and I said that I was going to name them because I think they've also downloaded the podcast, but I went and got all of these at the Barrel House in downtown Dayton. On 3rd Street.
No, I went to Barrel House and also got a couple of 6-packs, and I got a 6-pack of I've been on a seltzer water kick.
Yeah.
We talked about the Soda Stream and stuff, and they have CBD seltzer water that are in multiple different flavors, and I really like some of them. Some of the flavors I really enjoy. Some of the flavors I feel like you can taste something. It's got like an off flavor to it, and I'm not a huge fan.
What's the red cream soda? Did we both try red cream soda?
It's like Astra.
Yeah,
Astra. It's a seltzer. It's a red cream soda seltzer. And it's
so it has sugar in it. It's not like the ones that you get that are like 1 gram of carbs. Yeah. It for sure has sugar in it.
Right.
But it was fucking phenomenal.
Delicious, yes.
Oh my God. Dee and I went there. Dee, episode 5. Go back, listen to it. Dee and I went there and had it while we had our night out, our yearly biannual night out. And it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I have no doubt that it would sneak up and kick your ass.
I'll be honest, I was drinking that while I was watching a small child's play. And it was very helpful.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I spend a lot of time in summer ales. A new Belgian ale called Summer Bliss, Tropical Wheat, Saunders, Voss Kolsch. I haven't tried that one yet. I'm trying to get to the one where he
you're so prepared. You took pictures of this.
Did I try that one?
I have pictures in my brain that I can't describe.
So I went and got a 4-pack of this incredibly expensive fucking craft beer because I bought a single. Wolf's Ridge Loops. Tastes like fucking Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
It is a cream ale. They say that the flavor profile is cream ale with key lime, lemon, orange, and vanilla. Tastes like fucking Fruit Loops. Let it come to like not room temperature exactly, but like don't take it straight out of the fridge and start chugging it.
I will say some beers I prefer a little bit more towards room temperature.
Yeah,
you taste them more.
I'm gonna go home and drink the shit out of that. Nice. There was something else. Dragon Fruit Nectar Sour by Untitled Art. I hate sours, and it was tolerable.
Nice.
It was not that sour.
I will say, Barrel House, the 2 6-packs that I bought, I will say the majority of the beers I think I got were sours. Just because it's the season we're in and everything. And
right.
I am a huge porter and stout fan, and I really wanted more of those. And I got a couple of those, and I had the honey brown ale, but I got a lot of sours. That windscreen is just gonna kill you.
Yeah, so that was the sound of my beer hitting the windscreen. Honey tried the 50 West, Radler blue drink. Ooh. I tried it. He thinks it tastes like Kool-Aid. I think it tastes like not Kool-Aid. There's some kind of blue raspberry about it.
Interesting.
It's a bit sour.
I will say, I actually went to 50 West. Beginning of the summer. One of our camping trips that we went on, my cousin was there, and we decided it was cicada season. And you guys have heard us talk about cicadas earlier on one of our previous episodes. And so the campground was not exactly people-friendly with all the cicadas, so we decided to take one day and just drive 40 minutes to go down to 50 West and another brewery down in Chillicothe, I believe it is. And we went there, and it was delightful. And the beers they had a white ale, I think it was.
Probably.
That I really enjoyed. I can't remember what the other things were. They had a strawberry something that I really enjoyed, too. It was like a strawberry wheat ale or something like that, and it was really yummy. But 50 West is a nice little brewery to go visit.
I think I drank Tropical Wow. I'm not really fucking sure. You've tried
I'm sorry. I'm looking at her pictures upside down kind of on her phone. I just saw one that says low balls.
It's Lowball. It was a Shaxberry and Whistle Pig, a barrel-aged highball cider.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 16-ounce tall boy, and it was devoid of taste.
No.
I asked him. I had him try it because I was like, there's medication on board.
Is this just me, or is
this just me? And he was like, no, it is practically devoid of any taste, but it has a relatively decent alcohol content, so all right. So here's what you have to look forward to. I probably won't report too much more. Well, no, I'm going to go look for some shit. But here's what you have to look forward to, because I'm not doing these till October. I bought a shit ton of October beers because when October happens, I will not be able to get these.
Yeah.
So, the pumpkin pale ale is strong with this. Haunted Hayride pumpkin ale.
Oh.
Paranormal pumpkin ale. Erie Brewing Company Soleil Shandy. I'll be drinking that one. Nope, I'll be drinking that one. Pumpkin ale. Whole hog.
I'm hearing a theme here. I love pumpkin.
Shipyard. Pumpkin Head.
Pumpkin Head.
Southern Tier. Pumpkin. Kentucky Ale. Pumpkin Barrel.
Oh, it's a Kentucky Bourbon Barrel.
Yeah. Ellicottville Pumpkinville Latte.
I like a latte. Although I'm not a fan of the pumpkin lattes. I don't know what it is. I love pumpkin. Like, pumpkin pie is my favorite pie.
Yeah.
But I don't like the pumpkin flavoring in beers and, like, coffees and things.
So so what you're not going to hear me try is, like, Leinenkugel's Oktoberfest, or I will try some pumpkin ciders.
I'll try the Oktoberfest bins.
Yeah, there's some other Oktoberfests that I will get because I like the leafy taste. Like, I like the bonfire taste of some beers. But I should we'll do some here. Oh no, PSL is coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
PSL Ale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star City has some pumpkin spice latte.
I just drink stouts year round, so it's always winter for me.
I should have gotten coffee pale ale, but the alcohol content's kind of low.
Yeah.
And I always forget that Building 26, which is my normal here, like, I tried to go with the 2 higher octane ones, and I was like, those are not for me. They were not meant for me.
Yeah.
I can see where people would drink them.
Yeah.
They're not for me.
I will say, I actually complained a little bit the other day because I was like, I feel like everything is so high alcohol. Like, can't we get some more things under, like, 5.5?
I feel like you're just bitching out.
I am.
No, so then I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go back to my normal Building 26, and that's 7.2%. And when you have drank, I told you that I was sitting in my kitchen. My lift was supposed to take 30 minutes to get there, and then I get a notice that was like, in 7 minutes, your lift will be there. So I grabbed a bottle of Screwball whiskey, and which is peanut butter flavored whiskey, and a can of Diet Dr. Pepper. In any other circumstance, if it were a bottle, I would have just poured the Screwball into the bottle. Better yet, I would have gotten a higher alcohol content whiskey and poured in the Diet Dr. Pepper and jeopardized the Lyft driver's license. I'm so glad that I don't tell the Lyft drivers what I do for a pastime. But I didn't have that luxury, so I was like pouring Screwball into my mouth and then pouring Diet Dr. Pepper into my mouth and then swallowing it and doing this over and over again so that I could catch
shots.
Yeah, so I could catch a buzz. So I could catch a buzz, and then I went out into the garage because he got caught up at an intersection that just blows, and so it was like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. So time was moving backwards.
Yeah.
And so I was like trying to chug my loops. I'm like, So he pulls up in the driveway, and I was like, well, I'm just going to empty these 2 mouthfuls out because I really don't need my Uber driver, Lyft driver to see me like chugging beer. But what are you doing if you're taking a Lyft? You're drinking.
The Lyft driver doesn't care. Like, who cares if you're chugging a beer? Like, clearly that's why you called a Lyft, because you're chugging a beer and you're like, oh, I'm going to be safe.
And I hate silence, and I feel like I need to make small talk, and my Lyft driver was not there for it. And I feel like your driver has to meet you where you're at.
So I've listened to some other podcasts of people who have traveled and things like that, and I've heard of this button in your app when you request a Lyft or an Uber that you can put that you don't want to talk to people.
But they have to meet you where you're at. Right. If you want to be chatty, they have to chat back.
Okay, I agree with that, but like, I want nothing more than to have that button that says, I don't want to be talked to and I don't want to have to talk. So like, I want to push that, but I've never seen it on my apps.
I've not either.
and I want it so bad.
Oh my god!
I love silence. Silence.
I think I've mentioned before that I had to spend a week on Long Island, and after my experience in Philadelphia, I decided that I could not drive. Actually, my boss decided I could not drive in Philadelphia because he was like, "You're terrified to drive in Cincinnati." I 100%, having been in, like, having grown up in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, can guarantee you cannot drive in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You will die. And I was like, good call. I'll just get a taxi.
Right.
And then I almost died in the taxi. So I decided that in major cities or areas, I'm not going to drive. So I did not get big mistake on Long Island. Just get a fucking rental car and figure it out. It's not that bad. It's not like driving in New York City. So I was like, I will just Uber everywhere. So I get an Uber. You can get an Uber from like close to New York. Yeah. So I was staying in Garden City, and you can get an Uber from Garden City to anywhere. The problem is you can't get an Uber from anywhere back to Garden City. Oh. So I finally get this Uber. A couple of things happened. One, I wandered into an Orthodox town, not realizing that it was Orthodox, in like a sleeveless dress with my legs hanging out. Oh. It was bad.
Wait, that's a thing?
Oh, I wasn't covered. Yeah.
Like towns where you're like when you walk. Oh.
Yeah. Like I left the doctor's office. I walked around the corner and walked up a block to the center of town, and every single business had all of their signs in Hebrew first.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, oh shit. So I called my husband, who grew up Reform, and I'm like, all the signs are in Hebrew. All of the women are wearing long black sleeve shirts and leggings under their clothing with their hair under black purchase.
What time of year is it?
Oh, like it's summer.
Oh.
And he was like, you are in an Orthodox town. So.
Oh, no.
He was like, I'm like, I have a sweater. And
do you happen to have some leggings?
He's like, just put your sweater on. They know you're not from there. It's fine. He was like, just be as respectful as you can possibly be. So I'm like trying to get in a restaurant and like just hide while I wait. So I finally get an Uber. So I end up down in South Beach, Long Island. Yeah. And I cannot get an Uber. They're canceling on me left and right. So I finally get one to come and get me. Yeah. It's a 23-year-old kid. We're on the way back. This is the furthest south I've ever been. We're on the way back, and he is taking phone calls.
While he's driving you?
Yes, but he's taking them on Bluetooth, so
you can hear the whole conversation.
Yes. Bro, dude, you need to go get tested. Why? 'Cause you know Stacy? Yeah, bro. Have you been with her? Yeah, like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, bro, I got chlamydia.
Oh my God.
Bro, are you kidding me? No, bro. And I was like, I don't want to be here for any of this. And he was like, bro, I'm pretty sure that I don't, but I'll go get tested again. And I'm like, again. Oh. What are you doing that you're out here in these streets?
How old is this kid?
Oh, like they're 23.
All right.
He told me how old he was. He was like, this is sick, dude. I had, my dear God. He's working for Uber because he wants to get enough money to buy some properties and, like,
flip them or something? Become a real estate mogul?
Become like a landlord, supreme.
If your goal in life is to become a landlord,
you should probably quit fucking chicks with chlamydia.
1, yes. 2, I mean, just to be like, I don't know. I guess I look at landlords as like this like monster human being that's like overseeing other people. And like it's a power trip kind of a thing. So like when I think of somebody who's like, my goal in life is to be like, if your goal in life is like you want to own property and be able to make money off the property and be like an entrepreneur or whatever else, fine, cool. If your goal in life is just to be a landlord, like that has a whole different like connotation in my brain. From Texas, there was an article about a guy who sued a bar because him and another dude were both overserved and they left together and got into a fight and he got hurt. He sued the bar and won and got $5.5 million. Now, I don't know if he actually got $5.5 million because I'm assuming a bar, like, depending on the bar, might not actually have $5.5 million.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he got awarded $5.5 million. But after reading the article a little bit more, and not just the headline, which I tend to do sometimes, the reason he won is because it was a default judgment. Because the bar didn't show up or acknowledge the lawsuit and didn't show up to court.
Nice.
So it's like... And I'm very concerned about this. Because as a person who drinks, and as a person who has worked at bars before, like, as a bartender, you know it's your job to, like, make sure you don't overserve people.
Right.
Because you're constantly, like, worried about the whole, like, getting sued thing. Because, like, if you overserve somebody and then they go get in their car and drive home and, like,
they can
wreck
come
and
back on
kill
you.
somebody. Yeah, that can come
well,
back
the
on you.
family of the dead person can come back on you.
Yeah,
plus the
sue you. Yeah. And it's not the bar that they sue. Usually it's the bartender.
Right.
Like, it's the actual person that's... So, the thing I found interesting about this
lawsuit... Is the bar... I mean, like, you're not covered under the LLC or whatever.
No, so that's the thing. So that's what I found interesting about this lawsuit, though, is that he sued the bar, not the bartender. And he sued the bar, and then he won against the bar. And I'm like... And this is in Texas, so it's probably different laws than Ohio. But in Ohio, it's the bartender who's responsible for making sure you're not over-serving somebody. But he won this lawsuit against the bar, and the bar is who is required to pay this money or whatever.
Right.
Which I find obnoxious, considering the fact that him and his buddy went and got drunk and then got in a fight and he got hurt, and then he just won $5 million. Like,
I could say having been this is the opposite of never having been a bartender and a cocktail waitress, I've never had to cut somebody off.
Right.
Maybe because I took too long to get to them. So
well, you know. But also, I feel like there's that last drink that you don't know. Like, somebody can seem totally fine and then they'll have one more drink and then they're clearly trashed.
Now I've had people thrown out, possibly because behavior that might be related to them about to be overserved.
Right.
But I've told you about the story about the guy who I went to cash him out, or he ordered drinks, and he handed me a 20, and I had set the drinks down on the table, and I put the 20 on my till, and I was making change, and he took the 20 off of my till, ripped it in half, and put it back on my till. So I closed my till, and I hailed the manager, guy who owns, I'm not going to say his name, but he owns Chappie's now. Yeah. He used to own a bar in Oregon District. So I called him over and told him what happened. The guy was like, there was tape on the $20 bill. I just took the tape off. It was already ripped in half. And so the manager looked at it and was like, no, this is a fresh tear. Like, there would be dirt on both halves if it were taped together. And the guy started to give him shit, like, she didn't give me my change, she didn't do this, that, and the other. And the manager was like, I tell you what, she's going to keep the 20, she's going to keep the change, which is like keeping the whole 20. Yeah. And then he grabbed the table and the trash can, tipped the whole table over into the trash can, and was like, and now you can leave. You don't get your drinks, you don't get your money back, and now you can leave. So, I mean, and that guy wasn't drunk. And I've had people hit on me. Oh, but I have literally never had to cut somebody off. But I know that bartenders have had to do it. Yeah. In the course of things. I have been to a point where somebody should have cut me off. Yeah. But I've also, that has mostly happened in bars where I have been friends with the bar staff, and they've usually been like, somebody's going to take me home anyway. Right. They know what's going to happen. Somebody has claimed responsibility. Somebody's claimed responsibility for your I've had a bar manager tell me, like, I do not need my bar staff worrying about where you are and what you're doing because you're drunk. And I'm like, but they do, and I am, and I pay you for it. Yeah. That's that white privilege I got happening. It's kind of scary as a bartender to, like, have that knowledge, though, that, like, somebody can come back and sue you for millions of dollars. Well, and you have that friend who works private functions. Oh, yeah. Like, how's that work? Well, I've never had to cut off a priest from alcohol. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You have an open bar at a wedding, and you're working an open bar, and it's like, okay, so I'm not going to give Uncle John any more whiskey. Right. And then do you have an angry bride come and, like, scream at your ass because you're not giving Uncle Johnny any more whiskey? I've thought about taking her up on that one offer she has for that Sunday. I'm like, I've done this, and if you're just talking highballs and straight shots, I'm your girl. She is, and she texted me first before she posted, and I wish I could have, but I'm doing family obligations. I might text her. It's not that fast. 2.5 hours. Yeah. I mean,
Who doesn't want to get paid?
I'm rusty, but I can
Tips.
still count to 1 and 1.5.
I mean, open bar at a wedding, tips are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So.
I just, how low can my shirt be?
As low as you want. Just don't piss off the bride.
Right? No, I mean, can it be like this bartender low? Or can it be like
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not?
my favorite bartender low?
Yeah, you know.
Oh my goodness. No, I don't think that guy should have gotten that kind of money. That's just ridiculous. Like, where does your personal responsibility kick in?
Well, and my thing is like, I know there's certain laws and things like that, and so as a bartender, those are things you worry about. But when I read the headline, I was like, oh my God, somebody actually, like, did it and, like, felt it. Because, like, as a bartender, you're like, okay, these people are out here having a good time. You don't want to cut them off, whatever else. And it's like, most of the time, I feel like you don't have to. And, like, I've worked behind a bar before, and I've never had to cut anybody off either. And I've been fearful of somebody coming up and asking for another drink now, and usually they won't. They come up and they're like, oh, I want to cash out. And I'm like, okay, great. You're done, you know it, like, we're good. But yeah, there's always that fear of, like, that last drink because, you know, somebody who doesn't drink a lot or whatever else, like, you know, 2 drinks in could be their max drink, whatever.
Right.
They come up and get a third. For anybody else, a third drink is fine, but for this person, a third drink could be, like, the worst thing ever. And so I feel like when you're bartending, it's always like this thing in the back of your brain where you just don't know and you don't think about it too often because I think this stuff doesn't happen there very often. And so I saw that headline and I was like, are you kidding me? Somebody actually finally did it? And
I don't think it happens in our circle very often.
No, it doesn't. And I
mean, I think it happens often.
Right. But yeah, so
we are not alcoholics.
I just felt that was very topical with the whole drinking thing because I find it like it's something that like suing people is not something my brain jumps to ever. And so when people do it for things like this, I'm always very curious about it.
Yeah, because they take a lot of personal responsibility. We also talked about the fact that I have a big scar on the side of my head, the side of my face. It's less prominent now, but if you look, there's a crease in the side of my face. And then I have a nice crease or a nice scar under my arm where I was 100% overserved at a bar. I was winning rounds of drinks.
Oh.
And I won a lot of rounds of trivia and got lots of rounds of drinks. But we had a designated driver, so I think that's...
what kind of driver was that?
A designated driver.
Okay.
An enunciated designated driver. And I used to work in that bar, and I was about to go back to working in that bar, as was my cousin. So we were there knowing that we were going back to work there in a week or two. And we were having a great goddamn time. We had 2 designated drivers. We were there for a birthday party. We were playing trivia before we got to the boogieing and the dancing and the clusterfuckery of it all. And so winning. We won 7 rounds of trivia.
Yeah.
Which meant that I had 7 captains in diet. I had paid for like 4. And then I kept drinking them. And I don't know if it was because we knew them or because they knew we had designated driver. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I was 100% overserved. But I didn't blame anybody for it.
Right.
Later in that evening, as we were this melded pile of bodies on the dance floor, like, you're out there, you're just like in a writhing pile. None of us are having sex with each other, but we're all dry hopping on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And I hear this woman say something derogatory. And to this day, I cannot tell you what it was, but it triggered me. And my cousin was like, I'm going to go and say something. Just calm down. I'm going to go and say, look. She walked over and said, look, we're having a good time here. We're all just here to have a good time. You're here to have a good time. We're here to have a good time. We're not hurting you. You're not hurting us. We good. And she got pissed off, the other lady. And as her husband come back, she was telling him that she kind of put it in a more derogatory term than we did. And this lady said, as we were walking away, she yelled, "Fuck you!" And I turned around, threw my hands up in the air, and went, "No, fuck you!" And then her husband ran out on the dance floor, and I turned around and ran up to him. and he chest butted me. And I returned the favor, and then I got knocked down to the dance floor, and as I came up, she smacked me in the face with a cocktail glass, and then it was on like Donkey Kong. So that's where I have the cut on my face. I get cut across my cheek, cut across the bridge of my nose. She and I've seen video. I don't remember it. I only remember seeing the video. There was a bar rail. I grabbed her by both sides of her head and we went down the bar rail.
Oh God.
And my cousin looks at me as we're watching the video and goes, "Aren't you right-handed?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Why are you beating the shit out of her with your left hand?" I'm like, "I don't know. It was freehand." And then a friend of mine, you can see him from behind me walk up and grab me around the waist, and he's like shaking me up and down, like, "Let go of her head," kind of thing. And the woman picks up very clearly a Miller High Life bottle and throws it, hits him in the forehead, hits the dance floor, busts open. This is the important part. He finally breaks me away from her. My cousin runs up to me because I'm bleeding from my face everywhere.
Oh, God.
And I'm like trying to move. I'm like, "Quit fucking touching me." And she's facing me. And the woman runs around the bar rail onto the dance floor, picks up a broken High Life bottle, swings it. My cousin turns around and gets cut across her forearm. I get cut down the underside of my arm. And the lady drops it and hauls ass. And then on the video, you see this guy that like tried to disengage me, grab me by my shoulders and is trying to guide me off the dance floor toward the bathrooms. This bar is in a hotel, so you have to go in the lobby to the bathrooms. I'm just bleeding everywhere.
Well, yeah.
So the husband runs up to me, and as he gets in my face, you just see me like pound him on the right side on the left side of his head with my right hand. He runs behind us with a chair. Somebody grabs the chair out of his hands. We had no idea this was happening behind us. My first reaction was to punch him on the side of his head.
Well, yeah.
As I'm being escorted out by my friend, not by staff, because they knew me. I remember going into the bathroom and staring at like the meat of my face and some bone.
Yeah.
And I was like, "We go to the hospital."
Yeah.
I get to the hospital. This doctor was like, "You seem like a very nice person. This normally only happens to assholes." And I'm like, "I might have been a little bit of an asshole, but I certainly does not deserve to get smacked with a cocktail glass. Like, bitch could have just fought me." But this was extreme.
And I've mentioned this before, and I will reiterate: this is girl fights. Because girl fights, there is no mercy. There is nothing. Like, you will bring everything to the table.
So I had 16 external stitches. I had 32 internal stitches, 16 external stitches, 2 across the bridge of my nose. There was nothing they could do about my cheek or under my arm because they just like peeled it like a grape.
Right.
My cousin, same thing, peeled her like a grape. We go to court and the judge is like, "Are you still taking your lithium and like going to your psychiatrist?" And I was like, "Bitch is taking lithium and drunk in a bar? Those two things don't go together." I realize today I'm on bipolar medication, but like I am not that kind of bipolar. My medications don't react that way to that. That's bad.
Yeah.
And then when I told the judge, I was like, "If you would see the video," and the judge was like, "There's video," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's video." Like my victim impact statement. So then it got postponed for 2 more weeks, and then
that they can have the video.
She got like 5 years probation, and she had to test for alcohol every week for the next 5 years.
Oh my God.
So I didn't feel bad for her.
No.
I told my mom, we're gonna lose people. I was like, my mom was like, "What do you want when we go to court?" And I was like, "I want her fucking trailer and the plot that it's on." This is bullshit. Knowing full well that a lot of it was my fault. A lot of it was alcohol. But I was like, she didn't need to punch me in the face with a glass.
But here's my thing.
I would have been happy to have a fist fight and leave it right there.
I mean, and that's the thing. I feel like, okay, when you're drunk, I get it. You like get into fighty things and whatever else. But like to pick up a fucking glass and like go at it, like, no.
Right.
That's excessive.
So when you go to airports, when you have a layover, do you go into like every shop that's in your area?
Oh, no, I'm a big proponent of drinking. in between flights.
Okay, so
Which, I mean, shocker to everyone who's listening here. I like to get to the airport extra early. And, like, I have people that I have traveled with. They're like, we don't need to get that early. And I'm like, yeah, but if we get there, we get to check the bags. And then we can go have Bloody Mary before we get on the flight.
So I don't like paying airport prices for alcohol.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just go shopping.
Yeah.
So I had this ring one time that I really liked. It was sterling silver.
Yeah.
And it was a rolling ring. So 3 rings that were bound together. And
and you could
roll them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I forget what happened to it. It was tragic. Whatever. And my roommate, who became my roommate in Panama City, she was a girl I went through basic training or not basic training, we went through tech school together. And she was she was overseas in the Middle East. Why can't I remember the name? It was someplace with a Q, not Qatar, but God damn, she was overseas in the Middle East.
All right.
And she had to oversee contractors and shit, make sure they didn't have pens and paper, whatever. And she bought cartouches for everybody in the family, and then she got a rolling ring for me. And someplace in between her sending it and it getting to us, someplace near Chicago, the package got ripped open and all the jewelry was taken.
Oh.
I got the empty package though, thanks USPS.
That's super nice.
So I always wanted to replace it. So I was in Chicago, Houston, Tampa. It doesn't fucking matter. I was someplace.
One of the places.
And I was like, oh, this rolling ring. And it's it's not, I don't think it was sterling silver. I think it was stainless steel, but I still liked it. And I was like, it's like $30. It was cheap. I mean, it's airport price, but it was cheap.
Right.
So I'm like, I want this. So I go ahead and I pay for it. Lady doesn't say anything to me. No weird reaction. You'll know where I'm going with this afterwards. So I just get the ring, take it out of the package, put it on. I'm like, this is great. Yeah, I like this ring. It was weeks later. I'm playing with the ring and I realized there are words on the ring.
Oh.
There's one word on each ring. And I forget what the fuck the words were. I accidentally bought a purity ring.
Oh.
And it was I will be pure, or I will remain pure, or I promise to be pure. I forget what the fuck it was.
I'm
it was
going to go
purity
ring. By the time that you bought that ring, you were not still pure.
I've been pure since 19.
Don't worry. You don't have to finish that sentence. You don't want to.
It's been a while since I've been pure.
Yeah. I mean, but it was a nice ring.
I mean, even if we go by the first fiance, it's been a while.
I mean, let's be honest. How many people are going to be that close to your finger they can read it?
Yeah. I still like the ring. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in the house.
I'm not Irish, but when I was in high school, I got a
Plata?
Yeah, a Plata ring. I still have it on my finger. I had to get it resized twice. I had to get it cut off of my finger and resized twice and added gold to it so that it could get bigger because I'd grown and I wear it so often because it's not one of the ones that stick up.
Right.
It's engraved kind of. So yeah, it gets to the point where I've gained weight and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can't get this on my finger anymore. So I go to the jewelry store, they cut it off, they add more gold to it, and I put it back on my finger. And then, I gain more weight, and then they cut it off, and then they have to add more gold to it, and I put it back on my finger. So I've been wearing the same ring for 20 years. It's fine.
Yeah, make sure when you when you get engaged, because I have a feeling it will happen eventually.
Mm-hmm.
When you get engaged, just make sure you're very clear about what your ring size is. Buy your own ring size gauge things. Just make sure you post it around the house. I am a ring size 9.5. Just put it up, and make sure that you are not undersizing your hand. Don't make it the ring size that you want to be.
Okay.
Because my ring size is the ring size I want to be. And when we sent the ring back because they fucked up the stone, I was like, also, can you size it up half a size? And they fixed the stone.
Right.
But I feel out of spite, they didn't size the ring up. And now I had to go out and buy an $800 fucking wedding band to wear because wedding bands aren't cheap.
No.
When they're gold. I should have got my sterling silver one. Nobody would know the difference.
Well, and that's kind of my thing. I'm at the point where, so I have some nice jewelry because I have inherited some very nice jewelry. I will say, as far
Just put it out on the table and be like, any of these things that you mix and match together to put into a setting would be an acceptable, like melt some shit down, take these stones, make it into a unique ring.
Yeah. So that's my thing.
Put them in a box.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've watched a few friends get engaged and my sister get engaged and things like that. And after watching those things happen, I'm kind of like, I know the whole like surprise with the ring in the engagement and getting, like, I think the proposal thing, yeah, that's great. Like, I like that as being a surprise. The ring thing, I'm not so much concerned about being a surprise.
I sent him 6 options.
Okay, so here's my thing. I would much rather be proposed to without a ring and then be like, let's go find something that we both like.
Oh, so you want him to like make you a ring like out of
It doesn't need to be made.
aluminum foil and gum wrappers?
I'm just saying that, like, I would much prefer to, like, okay, so, like, my sister got proposed to, right? And she, like, I'm sorry if either of you were listening to this. My sister got proposed to, and she was super excited and super happy, and, like, she loves her husband, and, you know, but, like, he proposed, she said yes, and then, like, I don't know, a couple weeks later, she was like, I really hate this ring, and then they went and traded it in, and, like, got a ring that she really liked, and I'm like, I would much rather, like, go pick out an engagement ring with the person and, like, wedding bands, like, all in one go. Like, just go get the whole set, everything that matches, like, all in one, like, thing.
Yeah, my husband was like, what do you want? And I was like, I want a ruby ring for my engagement ring.
Okay.
And I wasn't very specific when I said it, and honey's a little spectrum. So I'm not saying that flippantly. You know him. So I was like, I want a ruby ring, and I want it to be white gold.
Yeah.
Those are my things. And he was like, just fucking send me
A picture.
links.
Yeah.
A picture.
Send me
something.
things.
And he meant links. He didn't
Yeah.
mean a picture. He doesn't want to go digging for shit.
Yeah.
So I like went around on the internet like, this is acceptable. And I was reasonable about the price. I wasn't asking for like, and because it's a gemstone, they're grade differently than a diamond.
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
was like, I wasn't asking for like I think it's like a grade 4 is the best thing. I'm like, let's just stay in like the 2 range.
Right.
Like, it just, especially with a ruby because they're very rare. And I was like, it can even be created. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people who is like a creative ruby. It's a chemically identical.
Who cares? It looks
stone.
the same. Like, who the fuck cares? It looks exactly the same as long as it doesn't dye your
I'm not
finger
going to be
green.
like, I would like a Burmese ruby because it's pinker. I know my rubies.
Yeah.
It's my birthstone. It's my grandmother's name. It was her birthstone. I have a reason for wanting it.
Yeah.
So I sent him 6 options. And I was like, whichever one you like the best. And so he picked one I never even thought about when I picked it. It's a very pretty heirloom setting. I didn't think about it when he picked it. I can't get a wedding band for it.
Oh.
Because it has pave diamonds on the outside.
Yeah.
Of the sorry. It has pave diamonds on the outside of the band.
Yeah.
Not just like down the sides where it shoots out from the ring on the top of the band, but down the sides, the outside of the band. So this guy at Jared's is like, I can design around that. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you're going to design around not the outside of the ring.
Right.
But this will be interesting.
Sure.
So I'm not sure that I'm actually going to get a wedding band that fits with it.
See, and that's the thing.
It's pretty. It's very pretty by itself.
The ring to me
it's just, I'm too fat to wear it.
I'm like, the ring's not a big deal to me as much. Like, I would like something that I like, but also, like...
I want a symbol. You want a symbol.
Oh, yeah. No, I want a ring.
I don't want to be in high school where people are like, I'm engaged.
Yeah.
And you're like,
if I'm engaged, I want a ring. But also, I would much rather the actual act of getting engaged be a surprise than the ring be a surprise.
Right. Now, do you want a surprise or do you want like one of those weird ass like, baby, won't you marry me? Where they're walking behind a car and like videoing it.
Oh no, I do not. I do not.
Or do you just want like a no family? You and I, we're out to dinner, and he's like,
yeah. I'm good with
You know
traditional.
what? I love you so much.
I don't like the ballpark things on the big screens. I don't like the big giant like flash mobs, like all that stuff. I'm like,
I would participate as fuck in a flash mob for
I
you.
don't need that attention. Don't want that attention because let's be honest, at this point in my relationship, if that were to happen, my first reaction would be like, "Are you sure?
I have to tell your partner this.
Like, is this?
Will you marry me as 4 words, and there are 4 dartboards upstairs. Bang. You just have to borrow a dart.
I mean,
Bang.
it's.
Bang.
I'm just
bang,
saying.
Bang.
My first reaction is never going to be yes or no. My first reaction is always going to be, "Are you sure? Did you think this through? How many beers have you had? Are you of sound mind?"
Here's the
Like-
thing. Getting engaged is not the same as getting married. You don't have to do it the way we did it, which is I said we're getting married
Yeah.
in March or April. You have until the end of the year to propose. We're getting married anyway. Just,
Yeah, I'm not.
and so he proposed.
I'm not about. I'm
I made
definitely
him
not
do
put
it.
my foot down.
I'm
but-
not fucking kidding.
Yeah.
He was like, "Do you want your ring?" And it was like the week of Christmas. He was like, "Do you want your ring?" And I'm like, "How long have you had my ring?" And he was like a month. It's been sitting in the office. I'm surprised you found it. Which is like, I'm surprised you are such a nosy bitch that you didn't find it. And I was like, "Yeah, I want the ring." And he comes out and sits down and hands me the box. And I was like, "Oh no. Oh no. You're missing something."
Yeah.
Like, and he was like, "Do you want to marry me? Would you be my wife?" And I'm like, "I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. Whatever."
I'm not like my expectations for that is so below par. It's so bad at this point.
You just want some enthusiasm.
Well, my thing is like at this point, I just want you to be sure. Like, I just want a definite, like, this is absolutely what I want to do.
You don't want to be like, "Do you want to
I'm
marry
being
me?"
talked into this. Like, because my first reaction is always going to be, "Did you think this through? Who talked you into this? Are you sure that this is a thing?"
It's going to be this podcast.
Like, is this, who coerced you? What happened? Who talked you into this? How many drinks have you had?
Mindy, 3.
Yeah. And I don't want to be sitting at the fucking bar and him just look over and be like, "So should we get married?" Like, no. I need a little bit of romance involved in the whole ask thing.
Okay,
But like,
let me just give you this lineup. First engagement.
uh-huh.
Opening graduation gifts from high school. High school graduation. My
Oh.
boyfriend walks in, tosses me a brown paper bag
Yeah, no.
from the jeweler
No.
with a jewelry box in it and says, "Well, do you wanna?" That was my first proposal.
I just said no.
Second
No.
proposal, he was in jail.
Oh.
I mean, it was military jail.
I mean,
Jail nonetheless. He was in jail in Oklahoma in Fort Sill.
yeah.
And he was like, "I want to marry you. Do you want to go pick your ring out?" I paid for it.
Oh, God.
Because I was that stupid at 24. I traded in for a lot of fucking jewelry.
Oh.
So I picked my own ring and paid for it. And then he
Yeah.
came home. And within a week of him coming home, I broke up with him and then traded the ring in for a bunch of jewelry. And I don't feel bad about it.
No.
Because the entire time we were breaking up, all I kept
paid
hearing,
for it.
all I kept hearing in my head was like, "I don't feel responsible. He fell in love in the first place." So I had the freshman going through my head by the Verve.
Nice.
So I didn't feel bad for that. This one, I was pretty sure like I was gonna marry this one.
Yeah.
I just had to like. He was like, "I just never saw myself getting married." I'm like, "Well, you're gonna see it now, bitch."
Well, and I think that's the problem because
Picture it.
I was always
I think he thought it was going to change our lives.
well, and I think that's really a preconceived notion of what it is because I, like, honestly, since I've been 10, I think I've always been the person, I don't want kids, I don't want to get married. Don't want kids, don't want to get married. Don't want kids, don't want to get married. And I've said that my entire life, and I've almost succeeded completely on the don't want kids, not having kids thing. Because let's be honest, I still have a few years that an accidental oops could come up or whatever could happen, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna. So we're pretty clear on that front. On the not getting married thing.
IUD. Get yourself an IUD. E.
I tried that. Didn't work very well.
Really?
I have a weird shaped things, and it doesn't fit
Did they
right.
give you the right one?
No, probably not. And it
If they gave you the one that starts with an M, that's the wrong one. They have to give you the one that starts with a K.
I don't know. All I know is after a year, I had them taken out because I was like, it hurts, and I hate it. And also now I'm on a shot that I don't even get my period anymore, which is just fantastic. Good. So sorry for anybody who didn't want to hear that.
It took a year and a half for mine to stop. And then when I got it taken out, they were like, this is the wrong one. And I'm like, why? And they were like, the one with the M, you should only implant in women who have had children because it's very long.
Right.
And I was like,
no.
I'm not even going to say it here because I'm pretty sure his sister listens. There were reasons why we complained about it, and the doctor was like, you guys are just being sissies about this. And then my other doctor was like...
Oh, no, you've talked about this on the podcast before, and you mentioned that, so she's very well aware.
They're like, this is the wrong one for you.
How lovely your husband is.
I'm just glad that my uterus is gone.
Yeah, so it's not like that thing. I'm like, all right, we're gone with that. So the marriage thing, I never wanted to get married because my whole philosophy on being in a relationship has always been, if I'm not married but I'm with somebody and they're still with me, then that means they want to be there because there's no paperwork or other things that prevents them from leaving whenever they want to, right?
Right.
But now as an adult, you have a different perspective on that because, like,
there's taxes,
there's ownership, there's living arrangements, there's all kinds of things. And I've been in relationships where I have stayed in too long.
You have to think about, like, death and healthcare and life insurance and... I will say this. The thing that changed, I think, most between us is there was like a...
Yeah.
We very much like, nobody's leaving.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody's leaving without a lot of fucking complications. We're both very lazy people, so it's very much like...
So it's like, okay, well, this is definitely... Yeah.
Nobody's going anywhere because neither of us are going to file paperwork for jack shit.
Well, and that's
it took everything in us to, like, mail the shit on time.
Yeah. Like, you get older and you realize it's like, oh, no, people will still stick around even if for these other reasons. So, like, the notion in my head that I had when I was younger of the whole, like, well, I don't need to get married because the person I'm with, if they want to leave, they can leave at any time, no longer kind of holds water because it's like, okay, well, no, now we're getting to the point where...
Our pot roast is done.
Yay! But yeah, you get to the point where you're like, okay, well, now it doesn't matter because there's so many of these other things that you're entangled with and whatever else that it's like, it's no longer oh my God, do they want to be here? Do they not want to be here? Because that's no longer like a thing that you're thinking of because, like, if you don't want to be there, you're not going to be there. Or at least I would hope you wouldn't.
I will tell you from my standpoint, it's very much an incentive because you have to work through whatever you're going to work through.
Yeah.
There's no, I'm going to pack my shit and leave. Right. Because you're like, well, you have to fucking come back.
Right.
Now, I will say in Ohio, it does complicate things because we each have houses. And I found out, and you already know this because you're a realtor, that like, it doesn't matter if it's my house.
Yeah.
He has to sign.
Yeah.
When we sell it, he has to approve of it because it's his house now. But likewise, it's my house now. And his house is worth more than mine. So I feel like I made out in this deal. But the thing is that what's weird, even though it's a dour state, if he dies, none of this is mine.
Right.
Until I go to probate.
Yeah.
If he dies without a will,
even
if he dies with a will, none of this is mine. But if he wants to sell it, it's mine.
Right.
Only the house.
Right.
Not the vehicles.
Yeah.
Not...
the laws and things are so funky when it comes to marriage. And the fact that it differs from state to state is just so ridiculous to me because it's like... there used to be a law in Ohio, which I'm pretty sure it's gone now, where it was like a common law marriage thing. If you lived with somebody for 7 years... Like you were automatically
used your name on a legal document.
Yeah. Like it was just, so I don't know. So the whole marriage thing to me, like I've kind of opened up to that a little bit more because I'm getting older and it's one of those things where it's, you start thinking about like, oh, well you go to the hospital. I had a horrible dream where like I had to call like his brother to get me into the hospital after there was a serious accident because like I wasn't allowed in because I wasn't related. It was a whole thing and it's like...
Yeah. But it's a whole possible thing.
Right. It's a possible thing. And that's that's the scary part, because as we get older, it's like there's more things that are like reliant on you being with the other person.
I knew so many people who were against gay marriage, and I was like, you don't understand. So I, from a very young age, I identified that gay relationships were the same as heterosexual relationships. My parents got HBO when I was very young, and I watched a show called Longtime Companion, and I was like, oh, regardless of what I have heard around me, not that my parents were blatantly about anything, but regardless of what I have heard in my very small town, gay relationships are the exact same as hetero relationships. Like, love is love is love.
Right.
But the struggle is hidden because it's hidden. So I've always been for it. And then there was an episode on the Moth Stories where this author talks about, I'm not sure if she's an author, I can't remember, but I know for sure her wife was an author. They met after she had divorced, and they fell in love, and they were in a civil, not even a civil union. They were in a relationship, but they couldn't be in a civil union in the state that they were in. They couldn't be married. And if this horrible flood happened, and trees were down, she had to run home from her brother's house because her wife called her and was like, I can't get out of the basement, which is where her office was. She was like, something is up against the door, because the flood had carried furniture up against the door.
Yeah.
And by the time she got there and was able to get things moved, her wife had been without oxygen for X amount of time. And they got the ambulance there, and they get to the hospital, and they're like, are you a relative? And she was like, I'm her partner. And they were like, but are you a relative? And so she had to call the brother in California to get permission to be in the room.
Right.
And I was like, yes, that happened to them. So like when it came to gay marriage, which should just be marriage, which I refer to as marriage.
Yeah.
When it came to that, I was like, of course this should be a thing. Like this should be a no-brainer.
Right.
But when it came to he and I deciding it, or me deciding it for us, because I'm that kind of bossy ass bitch. When it came to me deciding that, I didn't want to be in that situation. Like, I don't want to have to call his parents to get permission to be with him.
Right.
Because something happened.
Right.
I don't want him to have to call my mom. I wanted him to be able to be my next of kin.
Right.
We talked about it before. I don't want my mom to have to make decisions that my husband should be making.
Right.
Because my mom will not make those decisions. She will visit me every day for the rest of my life
while
I am in a veggie.
Yeah.
She'll be like sitting there crocheting by my side for 12 hours a day.
One day she'll wake up. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and so I didn't want that. So the whole marriage thing was not just because I love him, but because I needed there to be a purpose.
Yeah.
And so we have a purpose. We haven't filed taxes yet, so we don't know about that.
Right.
We don't know about that.
Well, that's my thing. I feel like that's a huge thing, is like, okay, the love's there and everything else, but it's like, then there's these contractual things. And I feel like I've never looked at marriage as a contractual thing, but I have been made aware that other people do.
The world.
Yeah, so it's a kind of weird experience, because it's like, I don't want to get married because somebody wants to be in a contract with me. Like, that sounds real fucked up. But also, like, that's kind of what it is.
Right.
And so there's a part of me that's like, I got to be realistic and look at it like that. But also there's a part of me that's like, fuck that shit. I don't want to be in a contract with somebody. Like, I want to get married because somebody loves me and wants to spend the rest of their life with me. And, like, that's a whole thing.
And I'm not sure in Ohio that a domestic partnership holds water.
I don't think it does.
Situations.
No.
So, I mean, it does with your insurance company, but
hell, at this point,
if you're paying for insurance for somebody and they won't let you in the hospital, I don't want to fucking pay.
Well, that's my thing. I'm like, I have insurance.
Yeah.
You know, and no, granted, we've started like combining some of our things. And
does your company allow you to claim domestic partnership?
No.
Oh,
well,
see, mine does.
I don't know. They might. I don't know.
Mine does, but I have to pay full price.
But that's my thing. I guess when I thought about domestic partnership, I didn't think of it as in the terms of like a heterosexual relationship. I think of that in the terms of a homosexual relationship. And that's like a thing for that specifically because they're acknowledging that.
Right.
So I've never even considered the fact that like, oh no, I live with somebody who is a significant other of mine that we're just not married, but we still live together and everything else. So I don't even know if that's a thing I can do with them.
I don't know. You'll have to look.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not cutting us off. I just wanted to, sorry, I'm very far away from the microphone.
Oh no, you probably should.
We do have to cut us off. Let's just throw some things out there.
Yeah.
I want to throw out there, we're very happy that Cuomo resigned. Jamie Spears is eventually resigning.
Yes.
Field of Dreams game, they wore throwback uniforms. They were throwback to the 1920s, but they have teammates that are of color. And I pointed out to somebody here at the bar that some people might be uncomfortable wearing those uniforms, and that person's response was, well, they didn't ban anybody from being in the game tonight.
Which, let's be honest, is not the right, perspective
I
to
was
take on
like, that was so much worse.
Oh, so... Yeah.
To add to our Becky's are worse than Karen's, we had to play darts twice with a legitimate also Becky. Still holds true. Becky kept telling us, don't quit. It's okay that you're bad.
While she was kicking her ass.
Yeah, fuck her.
Condescending as fuck.
My class reunion got canceled because nobody wanted to go.
My class reunion didn't get scheduled because I didn't want to do it because I don't want to go there.
We don't have any money. American Horror Stories. Just watch it. It's all right. It'll get you through.
I used to watch the original,
No, this is the individual episode. Oh. It's like a 7-episode anthology.
Nice. Okay.
Where they're all just watch it.
Interesting.
It'll get you through.
All right.
It's not that bad.
Jeopardy host. We all love Mayim Bialik.
Mayim Bialik?
Mayim Bialik.
Yeah.
Also super happy that douchebag resigned.
Yeah, so here's the nice thing. Neither Brandi nor I will ever be up for hosting or being on that show. So this podcast won't hurt us in the least.
Yeah.
And if you ever save an episode and hope to ruin our career with it, fuck you.
Hate you.
We'll find something to ruin your life.
I don't know exactly how you're going to do that, but,
If you know us and think that you're going to bring up something to ruin our lives, think about what we know about you.
I'm intrigued about the creativity that would take.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's LeVar Burton fans that found this shit out.
I will say I read an article earlier on the rankings of the guest host, and LeVar
Burton
was
the lowest.
He wasn't the lowest.
He was tied.
Mid-range. He was mid-range.
So,
Katie Couric got lower than him.
Who did?
Katie Couric.
Yeah.
Savannah Guthrie, I heard.
So did Andrew. Anderson Cooper. I
heard he was pretty, just a steady, solid host.
He's kind of smarmy. I love him, but he's a little, not smarmy, snarky. He's a little snarky. Yeah. But Alex was snarky as fuck.
I feel like Robin Roberts would be fantastic.
Robin Roberts would be good. Do you know who's starting to suck? Pat, what's his name?
Sajak?
Pat Sajak has become an asshole over the past few years.
You know why? And my dad has this trait. As you get older, you start to get very, I do not give a fuck in the, not bucket shape, but in the pool shape of, water. And you're like, the do not give a fucks have started filling up the pool instead of the bucket. And so now they're becoming assholes because they're like, I can say whatever I want to, whenever I want to. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, you can, but you still sound like an asshole.
People are like, I love this and I love that. And this is my family. And he's like, well, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like that. Things that we didn't talk about. I love Grownish, even though I shouldn't. You should be listening to Tobe Wiwe, N-W-I-G-W-E. You should be listening to him. He is an amazing rap artist. And if you're sleeping on him, you fucking suck. What else am I watching? Never Have I Ever, Tattoo Redo, Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell's Family Game Fight.
Nice.
And that's all I got.
Oh, and one more side note, because I did not include them in any of the notes from this week because I totally suck and I listen to things as I'm editing and try and take notes and do things. Last week we teased a podcast that super promotes us and they're super lovely and we call them Involuntary Podcast. That is not
involuntary input.
Involuntary input is what we said. It's not. It's voluntary input.
Voluntary input.
So voluntary input, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for promoting us.
Leo and Adam are there for us.
They're
Please
great.
listen to them.
Listen
They
to
do
them.
a lot of, it's not just technology. They do a lot about
They're geeky.
gaming and TV and
They're geeks and I love
they're
them.
geeks and they're amazing.
But yeah, so I will tag them this time in our episode.
You listened to them on the way back from Cincinnati.
I
You
did,
got caught
yes.
up on shit.
And they were fantastic and I loved them. So
They're amazing.
I
Leo's
will-
got a great voice.
I will hopefully in my non-drunken state when I'm editing this remember to tag them in our next episode. So go listen to them, please, because they're fantastic.
Okay, last couple of things. Hi, Jody.
Oh, wait. Hi, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
All right, and then where can you find us?
Also, on Instagram and Twitter, you can find us at DBBL_podcast. On Facebook and YouTube, DBBL Podcast. On our website is dbblpodcast.com. Or if you'd like to email us and get in touch, and please do so, dbblpodcast@gmail.com. Or just respond to literally anything on any social media because Mindy's all over that.
Follow us.
Follow us, share us, but more importantly, give us reviews. And if you give us 5-star reviews and subscribe, because, you know, when we drop things, let's be honest, I'm not the most reliable with getting things dropped on the exact same time every month, but I've been really good the past couple of...
You have been.
Like the past month or so, I've been real good at every 2 weeks, but if you auto-subscribe so that it automatically downloads our episodes, you will get us every 2 weeks on Friday.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks! Cheers! Cheers!
I've done a couple of episodes just like this.
I've got a scooch.
I feel like in the wintertime this would be so much better because we can put on fucking sweatshirts.
Oh, God, that'd be great.
Pants. I need
We could just bring blankets and shit.
I need a straw.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Ooh, I have giant straws. I know what get giant straws.
I have a very weird newsfeed because I get things like, Kylie Jenner's pregnant again. Afghanistan. People are all dying and trying to flee the country.
Yeah.
Jeopardy host steps down.
This child soccer star fell off the plane.
Right? Yeah. There's a baby being handed over to whatever. Yeah, it's pretty,
Old Navy eliminates separate section for women's plus size clothing.
So are they just going to combine them?
So when you go to shop now, it will be 0 to 30
Oh, nice.
and extra small to 4X.
Interesting.
And so like so my big problem with Old Navy is that like they'll have really cute shorts,
Yeah.
but they only have them up to a size 16 in the store and up to a size 20 online, and then they don't exist in 0X to 4X.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not always a size 20. And then I want a longer leg on my shorts, and they're like, here is khaki and navy. Enjoy. We are not sitting on the sex couches.
No.
I don't care if we put SureFit things on them. I know we told him that it would be perfectly fine once we put SureFit covers on them, but I'm not.
I don't know. Those used to be my couches.
I heard.
Well, technically...
If you knew which side of the couch they fucked on.
Well, no, because here's the thing. There's no cushions on the couch right now.
Right.
So they fucked on the couch with no cushions. So once you put the cushions on, you've covered up any of the surfaces that...
Oh, I thought they
The
like
fucking
put the
couch.
cushions on.
No.
The fucking.
No, the cushions were not present on the couch when that was happening.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like once the cushions go on... since we're in a bit of a... Can you pee? Yeah. Oh, God, thanks.
I can always pee.
That's a beer. And that's a beer. And that's a beer. And that's a beer. That's a laptop. That's a microphone. That's a microphone. That's a beer.
We have 283 people following us.
And that's
No, wait,
a
we're
beer.
following 283.
Yeah.
We have 20 more followers.